Oh, oh, hi. Hi, I'm here. Okay, so some people are born with mental conditions, some people develop them. I just recently self-diagnosed myself with something called yapping syndrome. And as a closeted extrovert, I don't know, I felt like I've always had this. I've been an introvert until like probably junior year when I really started coming out of my shell. After junior, I started yapping nonstop, and I would not stop yapping. And, so yeah, I just wanted to start yapping today. I don't know why, but, I'm gonna make a session because I'm gonna start making sessions. And I know I've already been making sessions for, like, my study sessions, but whatever. But I'm gonna start, like, yapping sessions, and it's just gonna be me, talking about my issues. Not really, I don't have issues, but I'm talking about, like, just life and how I am so I can track my progress throughout the years. So I have a chemistry exam due at 11 today, so I set an alarm for 9 p.m. called Stop Yapping, and that's when my yapping ends. Like my yapping needs to end there. But for now, I'm gonna be stalling until 9, and then I'm gonna try to have like since we have 2 hours until 9, I'm gonna try to make 1 hour for just like yapping session general needy stuff, and then second hour yapping session for general chemistry stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. So first I'm gonna talk about kind of like how my eating has been. I've been really exercising a lot. I've been going to the gym a lot and it's really good. I feel like it's about time. I need to start working out. And I don't know. I feel like since high school, I've always liked, junk food and sweets and stuff like that. For some reason, as I get older and I kind of progress into college, I stopped liking like chips and like candy and snacks and stuff. Like right now, I completely stopped liking like eating chocolate. I used to, I used to like chocolate. I never liked white chocolate in the first place, but like I started only liking dark chocolate, and now I just can't stand it. I don't know why. Like I can drink hot chocolate, but it just doesn't taste good to me. And like, the only soda I really drink right now is, like, Sprite and Cherry Coke, but I'm actually kind of, like, leaning off of Cherry Coke right now. I'm, like, drinking Sprite Zero a lot, just because, I don't know, I like it. But I have also, which is really good, um, started drinking water a lot. Ever since I got this cup right here, this, like, Diachrome Starbucks cup, I started drinking out of it, like, every 5 minutes, and it's really good because I used to not drink a drop of water. I'm being so serious, like, I would not get thirsty and, like, all day. So, now I'm like I drink, like, a lot of this. Like, I feel like if you want to adapt a habit, you have to find what works for you. And I just like I can't be caught dead drinking out of like a standard water bottle, like a hydro flask or something, or like a Stanley cup. Those are ugly. I really like this. It's so cute. Look at the color. And it's like purple. It's like my favorite color. It's my favorite shade of purple. And like not only is it like purple, it's like blue and green and pink. Like depending how you really look at it. And it's just so pretty. But also I kind of use it as like a coping mechanism. Like if anything's awkward, like if anything like a conversation kind of goes awkward, I'm just like, mm-hmm. Like, and if I'm waiting in line, I'd be drinking water, and I just kind of like use it as like a my nervous habits. I have another nervous habit. It's like picking at my lips, and how I cope with that is, I mean, I try to have my lips like done all the time, and I try to have my nails done. Actually, my nails look nasty right now, but don't we're not gonna talk about that. Um, so yeah, today, I don't know, I was eating at the cafeteria and I tried getting a cherry Coke, but the Coke it started tasting bad, and then that's when I realized my taste has gotten like so bland. Like I stopped liking so many sweets and so many like junk food and stuff that I'm really, really starting to get off of the sugar. Like I don't know why. I just really like I kind of like developed the taste for eating healthy food and stuff like that. But Another, another, I guess, mechanism for me to drink water is, like, I get, like, water up to here, right, and I do a small splash of Sprite, and it makes it taste like kind of like flavored water. There's this water brand called Hint, and it's, like, basically water with, like, a little taste of, either strawberry, raspberry, and I really like that's a good way to, like, drink water if you like a little, like, hint, you know? Honestly, I can't do that, like, all day, but I can, like, do it, like, for a little bit, and then, like, it'll just motivate me for the rest of the day to keep drinking water, so that's really good. But, um, it's good that I'm, like, getting into these habits. I'm really getting into it because I'm a nutrition major now, and so it wouldn't be very cool if I, like, was a nutrition major and then, like, it's my nutrition's just terrible. But I will say I don't know much about nutrition, and I've been eating, like, fries as my only meal for, like, an embarrassing amount of days. So I'm going to have to get a better diet for sure, and I have to really read up on my, like, vitamins and stuff because nutrition is nutrition, and I can't really be majoring in nutrition if I don't really know what's going on with my own food schedule. It's gonna be crazy. But anyways, I have, um, like, really bad classes next semester, so I'm wondering how I'm gonna go about that. I'm probably gonna have to spend most of my time yapping and going on stream to talk about all the studying stuff that has to do with that. I I hope I hope that's gonna go well. I have to probably, like, read up ahead of time or something like that because, like, I have OChem and then I have anatomy at the same time. I mean, I knew this was coming, like, I knew what I was getting into when I was, like, going into pharmacy, but it was just, like, I don't know. It's terrible, we're just not gonna think about that. I don't know, I'm gonna probably, like, break down. I only broke down once this semester, I did, like, a crying live. Probably gonna have a lot more of those next semester, but pray it doesn't happen, pray it doesn't happen. I had a really good day today, so I promised my parents I would use up all of my swipes, so I didn't really want to go to the edge, but I got it. I got takeout, so super proud of myself um for getting to get it before I got on the bus. But so yeah, I had to drive all the way and get it, but that's fine. Like honestly, I'm not like too bad about it. But honestly, do you like this? This is so cute. Like it says Hello Kitty, and the buttons are like Hello Kitty, and I have a pearl necklace. Okay, so this is what's going on with my aesthetic. Okay, so in from like elementary school, my mom picked all of my outfits, and my aesthetic was literally neon clothes. And it was so bad, like, I didn't like it at all. And then towards middle school, I started, like, having, like, a sporty type of aesthetic, even though I wasn't sporty whatsoever. Like, I started wearing leggings and, like, t-shirts, like, just, the basic clothes that people wear today. I started wearing, like, sweatshirts, stuff like that. And then high school, um, I would probably say my freshman year, I tried dressing, like, very western like, very country, and I don't know why. But sophomore year, I definitely that was when I I got into, like, Nikki and, like, the ABG mindset, so I tried to dress like a ABG. Didn't really work out, but, I really was trying. Junior year, I got into K-pop, and so I started dressing like this, and, like, I definitely, like, tried to dress, like, very, very K-poppy. Senior year, I would say I started dressing, like, a lot more, like, professional, like, elegant and, like, businessy, and that really just, like, kind of bled onto sophomore year here or not sophomore year, but freshman year here, I started dressing like I just dressed like honestly like a businesswoman, and it was like very high maintenance, and I still kind of am high maintenance, but in a different way. Right now, my aesthetic has really changed. Like, I still kind of dress like a businesswoman sometimes, but I try to add a little like more like girly flair into it. And right now, when I say right now, I mean like yesterday, I just started getting more and more into like the K-pop style. And so like got this hat. I started getting caps, bro. Like I had this like Kate Spade black cap. I don't know where it is. I'm mad because it was so pretty. Well, it was like it's like black, but look how cute this is. And when I wear this like with a pink sweatshirt, oh my gosh, so cute. So like I'm getting into like street fashion, but also kind of like K-pop girly fashion. I don't really know what my aesthetic is gonna be in the next few weeks, but we're gonna find out. Also, do you like this? This is so cute. I went to like a French club meeting, and we were doing a like Baroque Rococo style paintings, and I made this. Yeah, it's so pretty. I was like, this is definitely my aesthetic if I was a princess. I like literally didn't get any inspiration for this except for like the background. So I did a pink background because I was feeling pink. And then I did these white, oh, I don't like the way it looks like on camera, but I did these like a white puffy clouds right here. So I like did that. And then really that was all I had, and I just kind of sat and thought for a while. And I didn't really want to do like the traditional rococo style, and so I saw like these nature things. I'm like, I'm gonna make it very nature, because I like nature. And if I was like, I was thinking like if I was a like a French or like a Disney princess, what would I be? I would probably be very like elegant, fancy, but also like earthy at the same time for some reason, you know? Like I don't know why. I'm just like I just like a humble style, even though like I like fancy. So like for example, look at me right now. I look like this is very like girly pop, right? But if I was to stand up, I'm wearing blue jeans. Like this is not like you think I'm wearing a skirt. I'm wearing blue jeans. And I'm also wearing Vans. Like it's very skater girl. Oh, also this is a weird habit. Like this a weird masculine or not even masculine, just like corny habit I have picked up in the past few weeks. I just always carry a pen. Like I either like stick it here like in my pocket or it'll be like on my neck. Like so just like whenever I need to like get a pen, I just whip it out. I don't know anybody else who does this, but I think that's just corny. But I mean I do it, so I guess I'm corny then. But anyways, I added the naturey. So like there's this, and then I added this one which is really hard. So I kind of paired those two together, and I was like, okay, so we're gonna add pearls to make it like more girly and elegant. And just honestly to add a piece of white onto it that's not clouds. And then I was like, okay, so I definitely want gold because I want three colors. Generally, I like to have three colors and not too many colors on a palette, or not on a palette, but like on a, the art piece. I like to like have like a little triangle. So here, obviously, it's like gold, pink, and white. But I also have like brown neutral. And like honestly, this is the way I do my makeup. I'm being so for real. Like I have gold glitter, and then I put, blush on. I like a pink, like, rosy look, and then brown eyeshadow. So that's honestly, this is like the way, this is literally my aesthetic. But anyways, so I added these like gold glittery accents on there, and then of course these like little rhinestones. And honestly, that was like the complete look for a while. And then I was like, okay, so I want to add like some ribbon. So I added this one on because it just matched perfectly. But initially, it was just a painting. So we didn't have any glue. So I brought home this to finish off because this is not finished. But I brought home this ribbon to put like behind. I think I'm gonna do behind, but this is gonna literally complete the painting when it's done. and it's just gonna be so pretty. I'm so proud of it because literally I did this from scratch. Here's another painting that I did, and it's like Aurora Borealis. It's not complete. I don't know when I'm gonna complete it. Don't ask me. But there's that. And there's another art. Oh my gosh. This is the most proud art piece. Look at it. Look at it. It's so hot. And you're like, Nini, that looks gross. Guess what? I spray painted this. I took a graffiti class and I spray painted it. Guess what? It's me. It's me. I literally drew myself. Don't we look similar? It's the lips. I promise. It's literally the lips. Anyways, I'm gonna explain the meaning behind this. You're like, Nini, there's no meaning. Yes, there is. It's me. There's meaning to everything. So this is me. The hair is red because I had red hair, and I feel like red hair is just hot. Like red hair is just very bold, and I'm a bold person, and I decided to be bold one day, and I got red. So, and you're like, Nini, where's your red hair? I took it out. Yeah, I'm not bold anymore, but I was, and so that's why I'm keeping this because even though the hair goes away, the spirit doesn't. So there's this. So I have black and red hair, and I have like these huge red lips. And you're like, Nene, why are the lips so big? It's because I spray painted it. There's no really a way of like spray painting lips to make it look good. It's not like big. Also, it just looks very girly pop and dramatic. And I like a dramatic look. So that's why I look like my lips got like double dose lip fillers. I'm not gonna do it, by the way. I just like looking like I just drew it like I have lip fillers. But maybe one day I'll decide like, hey, I'll go to the doctor and I'll get like 5 units on my top lip and like 10 units on my bottom lip, and then I'll dye my hair red, and then I'll get blue and purple, green and purple contacts, and then I'll like walk out to school and they're like, Nini, why you look like you're painting? I'll look crazy. It's whatever. So, anyways, I was explaining this. So I had purple and green eyes, and what this symbolizes is the way that okay, this is weird. Okay, so I like purple, right? Purple is like a very serene, royal color, and it's a very calm color. Um, and it's like the usually my demeanor is very calm and nonchalant, so that's why it's like this. But I'm also a raging person. Like I rage a lot. Like I rage quit school. I rage quit studies. I rage quit my homework. So like I rage a lot. So um that's what the green symbolizes. Like green is very like jealous and a very like destructive color. So this is probably me looking at my life, because like my life is generally very calm, but like my life also like makes me like rage quit sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be in class, right? I'll like have two more classes to go to, but like the morning class just makes me feel so bad that I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. So the eyes just kind of symbolize me looking at life, and I'm just like, hey, I love my life, but like you suck sometimes. So but it's also like I have like these stars in my eyes. Like I'm dreaming about, I don't know what I'm dreaming about, but I'm dreaming. And I think it's just me romanticizing the pain that life gives me. It's also romanticizing the calmness that life gives me. So there's that. So honestly, this is just a painting of a hot girl that I spray painted. I actually didn't know how to spray paint, but when I did the class, the guy, like the instructor guy was like, Nini, like not Nini, he didn't know my name, but he was like, "Do you know how to spray paint? Like, have you done that before?" I have not, but I was like, I'm so proud. Doesn't it look like me? It looks like well, the lips are a bit dramatic, but like it kind of does look like me, doesn't? Like if I do that. Anyways, so okay, I have a big story behind behind like all this before I started it. It looked nasty. So they told us to like draw a background, and I picked um pink and purple. Yeah, pink and purple. So basically, they told us to do like a little background. So I kind of split it down the middle right here, like diagonally, and I made this side pink, and I made this bottom like purple, right? Because I was trying to like go for a hot girl look, and pink and purple like just makes sense, right? So I did that, and then I did the little gradient or whatever. It didn't work out. Like it looked kind of nasty. I didn't take a picture of it because it was that nasty. And then guess what I decided to do? I decided to like make green swirls, and it looked so bad. It looked so bad. But honestly, I was like, I didn't really focus too much on the background because I was like, I wanted to draw a girl anyway. So why would I want to like and anyways, it just looked nasty. It looked like I just wanted to throw this entire canvas away. But then I decided like, okay, I'm just gonna make her as huge as humanly possible. So like literally her face is bigger than mine. Like here. Oh my gosh, if I imagine me getting hair this big and lips this big and eyelashes this big. Maximalism. But no, actually, that was what I was thinking about when I did this painting. I was thinking like very maximalist, make the eyes like orbs, and then make the lips like a BBL type of lip, you know. But it was like it's not a BBL, it's like a BLL. So yeah, and look how it drips. Well, don't look at the neck. I messed up there. But like the lips are dripping, the eyes are dripping. So it's like even though she's romanticizing and like looking at life on like a rage type of level, she's crying and she's drooling. So yeah, crying and drooling. That's the meaning. Okay, so next topic. Andy, why you watching my Okay, so that I talked about my aesthetic and I talked about art. Okay, choreo. So I had a choreo to learn in one day, and I still haven't learned it, but it's okay. So it's like the dance break from Jungkook's like standing next to you, and I like started freestyling everything. Yeah, I was freestyling everything, and it didn't look good. So I don't know how I'm gonna learn that. I've been like doing like a lot of choreos, and I've been doing good, just not like recently. It's been bad. Anyways, so what the next topic? I actually have a list of the topics I'm supposed to talk about, but I think I finished. I think I finished because I have to like review chem. Honestly, all I'm doing is stalling so I don't have to take the test. I don't want to take my test. I'm trying to think of things I can talk about. I got Bucky's I got Bucky's cotton candy. I'm gonna eat some right now. I'm gonna eat some right now. Should I make a cotton candy? No, I'm not gonna make a cotton candy mukbang. I have to literally do this chem test. Imagine my aesthetic. Look, pink and bloom. I'm literally a cotton candy. I'm a cotton candy today. No, because this is literally baby bloom. I have like baby pink makeup, baby blue shirt. This is giving gender reveal. This is giving people at my age are all getting married, having babies, and I'm here having a mental crisis because chemistry. Okay, since I'm done talking about life, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna talk about chemistry. Okay, so no more fun things. I'm gonna be talking about chapter 16, chapter 19, and chapter 20 of my chemistry exam. It's a good thing that he told us what chapters we're gonna be talking about. So I'm gonna review. Actually, I'm gonna talk myself over both of these chapters for the next hour and a half, and um, hopefully I'll do good on the test. I'll like update or whatever. But all my other exams went. I actually did an A on all my other exams, so hopefully this one goes well. Cause I have a C in the class because once I took one test and I took it like the wrong time. Like the class told me to, or like the Canvas told me to take it at the wrong time, and eight, never mind. Like the class told me, okay, so literally Canvas sent me a notification saying like it's due at 12 a.m. So I took it at like 10. Or no, okay. So usually an exam is due at 11, right? But the class this time sent me like the exam was due at 12. So I was like, okay, I'll just start the exam at 11, right? Right? Like I'll have plenty of time. So I was studying and I was like, okay, I'll start it 10 minutes early. So I started at 10:50. Turns out it was due at 11 this whole time. Like, and so I had 10 minutes to take the test, and then I only got like 6 questions. So I made like a 15 on the test. But I got to retake it because I emailed the teacher, and so and then everything was okay. But he still hasn't taken the F off of, like, I still have both my exams. I have the failed exam, and then I have like the exam that I actually took full. So that's why I have a C. So I hope he takes it off so I can like feel better, because I actually don't know what grade I have because he hasn't taken the exam off yet. I'm probably gonna email him about that. But we have to start on this um on chapter 19 because I'm about to take this test. So chapter 19 is about electrochemistry. Oh, the funny thing is I haven't studied at all for like this exam at all. Like I didn't study chapter 19 or 20. I didn't even do the notes. So that's why I'm going to talk myself through it because that's how I study. Okay, so okay, so I already know about oxidation and reduction. All right. Okay, so free elements have a number 0. Monoatomic ions have an oxidation number equal to their charge. Okay. And then sum of oxidation numbers on all the atoms in a compound is 0. So it's always, the sum is always 0, but the different oxidation numbers is a charge. Huh? Okay. So if it's a polyatomic ion, the sum of the oxidation numbers of all the atoms equals the charge. So for nitrate, oh, I just got a question wrong in my bio because I put nitrate instead of nitrite, but it's okay. We're not gonna talk about it. So for nitrate, the number for nitrogen is +5, and the number of oxygen is -2. So nitrate has 1 nitrogen, 3 oxygens, so it would be +5 -6. So it would be -1. Okay, so the sum of like everything is okay. Got it. Group 1 metals have +1. Group 2 metals have +2. Non-metals have the oxidation states according to the table on the right. Okay, so there's a table for that. Cool. Okay, let's just skip that. I don't care. Oxidations are characterized by an increase in oxidation number of an element. Huh? Huh? Have you seen that cat? That huh cat? I can't stop saying huh because of that cat. I'm gonna... Hopefully I don't get... No, it's over. Is there like a 1 hour version? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna be playing the 1 hour version, and after the haws are over, I'll like try to speed up. Okay. I can't do this. I can't do this. This actually represents the way I feel about this material right now. Okay. Stop. Okay. Okay, so reductions involve a decrease in the oxidation number of an element. So +4 -2. Okay, so where's the thing when I need it? I'm not gonna stop laughing. Okay, so okay. So this is an oxidation reduction like reaction, right? So we're gonna talk about carbon and sulfur into CS2. Wait, what does that mean? Okay, so C plus 2S is CS2, right? So C free element, S free element, 0. These two have 0 as their like oxidation number, right? So for carbon, when it becomes CS2, the carbon becomes +4, so it means it's oxidized, right? So 2S, when it becomes CS2, the charge is, or not charge, the oxidation number is -2. So that means it's reduced because the number reduced. So the number here grew, so that's why it's oxidation. Okay, half reactions. So redox reaction can be split into two separate half reactions, an oxidation process and a reduction reaction. So let's see. Huh? Huh? Okay. I'm not gonna talk about it. Okay, this is actually getting kind of annoying. I thought it was gonna be funny, but like you need to shut up. So half reaction method. Okay, voltaic cell has spontaneous redox reaction. And it's also known as a galvanic cell, and non-spontaneous redox reactions are inside an electrolytic cell by an addition of electrical energy. Okay, that makes sense. Spontaneous. Okay, makes sense. Huh? Huh? Salt bridge? Hey, yo, we're talking about electrochemical cells. I'm not, I can't. We don't wanna talk about I don't wanna talk about electrochemical cells, bro. What does this have to do with what does this have to do with pharmacy? Can I talk about pills? Can I not talk about electrochemical cells? Okay, whatever. Anode is where oxidation occurs. Cathode is where reduction occurs. An anode is positive, and that's where oxidation happens. And cathode is connected to the negative end of the battery in an electrolytic cell, and it gains mass. Okay, I'm gonna pretend I know what that means. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know that. I don't know that. Now we're talking about voltage and currents, and I'm just not gonna go through. You know what else gains mass? Me. I've been eating. Unfortunately, I've been eating. Cell potential. Okay, that's the difference. E cell is standard EMF. Wait, what is EMF again? Electromotive force. Okay. Whoa. Now that's gonna be. I'm gonna take a picture of that because I don't. My chin. Stop body shaming me, Annie. It's not that bad. I should get like a gua sha. Start attacking. Is it Andy who's the second person on the stream? Half cell potentials. What? Oh. Okay. No. Stop. That's mean. Oh, studying. Studying. See, this is bad, but, like, when I get into, like, orgo, I'm gonna go on here, yap, cry, throw up, eat probably, like, eat chips. I don't know, like, I don't know. But honestly, I'll be looking like this. I'll be, like, rage quitting. What was I talking about earlier? I was, like, rage quitting, looking like romanticizing life, right? Romanticizing life, rage quitting, getting jealous, feeling calm. Oh my god, Jay, what if we cover? Wait, I'll have to like cry. I have to cry, rub my eyes. Sweet dreams of me. No, no, cause look, cause look. Oh wait. I'll keep playing that. No, because I have to predict whether a metal will dissolve in an acid, and like it has something to do with voltage. Like, yeah, like, huh? Girl, I'm going to do this until it. Cause okay, look, I have to do that. I have to do that slide, and then now I'm gonna have to do radioactive decay and radioactivity. Like, what is that? I don't know. Like, uh, JYP.
Expedia members get member
Stop.
prices and rewards for future
Stop.
trips. Make the holidays sweeter. Russell Stover chocolates.
It's gonna come. It's
Make
gonna come.
happy.
Promise. Literally, what is his makeup? What is his makeup? What is his makeup right now? No, because I would literally have to go through a mental like breakdown and 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 cry. What?
I travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used.
Who did invite me to this?
Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused.
Okay. Why are they taking his clothes off? What? Is he singing? I know that. Oh my gosh! I know this song. She looks like she's going through. She's trying so hard to like not cry. No. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna I'm gonna go back to the you know, I'm gonna go back to that and we're gonna keep talking about I have to focus because like I have been getting so off track by any Oh my gosh, I have another picture I have to take. Thank you. And I have Okay, I know I did not throw that up. Like thank you. Thank you. I feel like a celeb. Usually nobody goes on my live. I'm like just yapping by myself, but thank you. Thank you. Anyways, we're gonna get back to studying because this is our last exam, bro. I got this. I got this. I got this. 38 of 51. Huh? The Nernst equation? What's that? Don't talk to me about that equation, that Nernst equation. I'm just gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna look at it later. I'm not gonna look at it right now because I'm scared and I'm gonna need somebody to pick me up. I'm scared. I have one more. I have one more hour to yap until I have to take my test. So I better get down to business. I go concentrated so. What does this mean? What does this mean? How am I supposed to know what all this means? Hey, like, I don't know what any of this is. Electrolysis, chemical energy is employed to overcome the energy barrier of a non-spontaneous reaction, allowing this process to occur. Huh? So it's like a reverse reaction? Okay. None of this is something I understand. None of this. Huh? Like, this can't be right. This can't be right. This can't be right. I hope my future employer slash my colleagues don't look at this video and like know that I'm struggling with chem. Please. I'm doing good. I know, I understand. My mental strong. My mental unbeatable. My mental can't beat it. Actually, I don't even need to study. I can just like jump in. I can just like take the test without studying. I don't know. Oh, I'm actually on page 50 of 51. That's pretty cool. O2 is very easy to reduce in moist conditions? Yeah, exactly, huh? Moist? What is that? Moist? Aqueous. Aqueous. Oh, I was like, how am I supposed to know it's moist? Remember when like moist was like a really bad word? Like nobody liked moist. I think it's fine. Okay, here we go. Radioactivity. Antoine Henri Becquerel. Huh? Huh? Uranic rays is crazy. Oh, uranium, okay. Did he die from that? Radium. Nucleons. Mass number equals protons plus neutrons. Okay, duh. Isotopes are identified by their mass number. Yo! Mass number, atomic number. Oh, okay. No, bro. I can't have you saying that. We're gonna be listening to This is how a stalker's brain works, and it's really disturbing. So I'm gonna be listening to that and learning about radioactivity because both of these things disturb you in one way or another. A stalker can disturb you, but also radioactivity can disturb you.
Hey, 42 here. You've seen stalking in movies and on TV, but unless you've had an obvious stalking experience, most of you will probably think that it's something that never happens to you. We think that stalking is something that only happens to other people. But there's a good chance that you've been a victim of stalking. In most cases, however, you will
I am
never
a
be
stalker.
able to know for sure. The internet and social media make stalking so easy for the stalker, yet so difficult to identify for the victim. Over 7 million people are stalked in the US each year. But how does a stalker manipulate their prey? What drives them to stalk in the first place? Let's step inside the mind of a stalker and uncover some disturbing psychology. The vast majority of stalking, roughly 80%, is domestic stalking, meaning the perpetrator is someone the victim knows, a friend, family, or most commonly, an ex-partner. Stalking can sometimes be mild or just very well concealed, and thus most stalking victims don't actually realize they've been stalked. If you want to assess whether or not you've ever been stalked, simply ask yourself, have you ever received an unwanted gift, or perhaps a series of strange phone calls or anonymous mail? Then you've probably been stalked. In domestic stalking cases involving ex-partners, the obsessive behavior usually begins following a breakup, as I'm sure you probably already know. But what's quite interesting is the psychological process that the man or woman in question goes through to begin stalking the other. Stalkers following a breakup often report a feeling very similar to the grief felt after the death of a loved one. Stalking usually begins when one person attempts to keep in contact with the ex and they don't reciprocate or straight up ignore them. Therefore, they feel as though that person is forever lost to them, similar to a death. The grief this causes can, in some people, trigger a panic response. Many stalkers actually equate it to being remarkably similar to a panic attack. This panic causes them to become obsessed about trying everything they can to re-establish that lost channel of communication. And when you get people with a borderline personality disorder, which is typically diagnosed in around 2% of the population, you have a recipe for disaster. Because such people will take that obsession to anywhere it needs to go to achieve the attention once again, even if that involves acts of extreme violence. Unlike stranger stalkers who will talk impulsively instead of in a premeditated manner, impulsive behavior, however, is usually far more dangerous. You can identify when an obsession with you has crossed over into dangerous territory by examining the current state of their life. You see, as a domestic stalker's obsession levels increase, the rest of their life falls apart around them. It's consistent in stalking cases for the stalker to lose their job as a result of their obsession, and they will also stop eating and sleeping. What makes domestic stalkers so dangerous is that they truly believe that they are the victim. Here's the thing: a domestic stalker never thinks they are a stalker. Consequently, you can never stop a stalker by calling them out on it and saying, "You're a stalker."
I have to take picture. So many pictures. I'm not gonna understand any
So
of them.
please stop stalking me. It's only likely to make the
Alpha,
problem worse because they will feel more victimized.
helium.
Whether they actually are the victim or not depends on the circumstances of each individual case. But the stalker will believe that they are the victim of being closed out of their life, perhaps their home. A very common stereotypical scenario is when a mother gains sole custody of the children, completely shutting out the father from their lives. Rightly or wrongly so, mothers win 90% of custody battles. I'm not trying to justify stalking behavior at all, but it's easy to appreciate how, in those instances, the man will always feel as though he is the victim of a heinous crime, regardless of the events that may have led up to that custody order. The more that the man or woman has been hurt, then the more likely they are to feel victimized, and thus the more likely they are to lash out. Because the stalker is usually in the mindset of, if I'm suffering, then so should you, which can lead to tragic consequences. Anonymous stalkers, on the other hand, are not inspired by a personal connection to the victim because they don't have one, of course. Stranger stalkers are often the most mentally deranged, i.e., they are more likely to have sociopathic tendencies than domestic stalkers. Yet, they are surprisingly the least dangerous form of stalker. A typical stranger stalker fits perfectly into the sociopath profile. They are usually highly narcissistic and can easily become obsessed with a particular thing or person. A stranger stalker will begin stalking to gain control, because a typical stalker will have, or at least feel, that they have little control over their own life, either as a result of current circumstance or their upbringing. The behavior of a stalker can seem counterintuitive at first glance. They appear to be obsessed with a particular man or woman, usually sexually, yet they simultaneously go out of their way to intimidate that person or even resort to violence. But there is reasoning behind the aggression. Aggressive behavior is the easiest way to assert control over a victim, especially one that is physically weaker than oneself. Through intimidation, whether that be leaving creepy messages on the victim's answering machine or following them around, the stalker is creating fear and thus asserting control. It stands to reason that the more victims a stalker has under their tyrannical thumb, the more control they feel and enjoy. And this is reflected in the fact that most stranger stalkers do, in fact, maintain more than one victim at the same time. Interestingly, it's also this desire for control that means that most threats from an anonymous stalker are empty. If For example, a stalker threatens to kill their victim. Most of the time, it is just an extreme way to cause fear and thus gain a greater sense of control over that person. If they were to actually carry through with the murder, they would, of course, no longer have someone to control, and so that avenue of pleasure would be permanently closed off to them. Obviously, this is not always the case, and there have been many tragic incidents where such threats do turn out to be more than just words. It should also be mentioned that, statistically, when a domestic stalker threatens violence against their victim, they are significantly more likely to carry through with it than when a stranger stalker does. Because domestic stalkers are driven more by emotions and a desire for revenge than a need for control, so they are usually more willing to act out violence. According to statistics published in a 2009 paper, domestic stalkers will carry through with a threat of violence 1 out of every 2 times. Whereas a stranger stalker who has no prior relationship with the victim will only carry through with a threat 1 out of every 10 times. These days, of course, there is a new breed of stalking that makes finding out what your victim had for breakfast disturbingly simple: social media. In a world where publicly flaunting which gym you attend each morning and Instagramming scenic pictures of the park you jog through during your daily commute, it's effortless for stalkers to ply their trade. Anyone can be the victim of online stalking and abuse, both men and women. In fact, a recent report by British think tank Demos suggests that men receive much more, with 2.5% of the tweets sent to men being classified as abusive, compared to 1% of tweets directed towards females. Some social media platforms offer tools for you to block certain people from viewing your profile, but these are often woefully inadequate and wouldn't prevent any stalker with a moderate level of IT competency from finding another way to view your latest posts. Honestly, the best thing you can do to protect yourself from unwelcome prying eyes, short of deleting your social media, is making sure your accounts are secure, especially your email account, which is your single point of failure. Recently, 30 million Facebook accounts were compromised, and each month millions more are accessed unwillingly, sometimes unknowingly, by those who wish to do you harm, either socially or financially. The best way to protect yourself is with the leading password manager and all-in-one security suite, Dashlane, who will store all of your passwords in a super safe way without ever having access to them or allowing anyone but you to view them. Dashlane creates strong and unique passwords for all of your online accounts and auto-fills them so you never have to click Forgot Password ever again. And you don't have to sweat about the extremely rare chance that Dashlane could be breached, because Dashlane safely stores and decrypts your data on your local device only, using your master password. That will immediately let you know if your personal information appears on the dark web, where it can be seen by hackers.
So you're on Only Murders in the Building. Yes. I love this, with Steve Martin and Martin Short. It's so good. So what's it been like working with them? It's such an odd, pairing.
So odd. It's so weird,
Spammers or stalkers. From my experience, Dashlane is the best.
It's the hottest BTS member. Look, they all cute, but I'm gonna have to go with RM.
Their favorite BTS member.
Oh, that's hard.
Bases covered security and time-saving tool out there. If you visit my unique promo link in the description, you can get a free premium trial of Dashlane for 30 days. Plus, if you enter 42...
I watch the most random things on YouTube, so... Also, I have ADHD, I think,
And today
so...
we're going to look at 3 stories that demonstrate that.
I multitask studying.
Stories. If you're a fan
Don't
of
blame me.
Strange, Dark, and Mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, the next time you're at the Like Button's house and need to use their bathroom, don't use their toilet paper. Instead, use dozens and dozens of quadruple ply paper towels. Also, please subscribe to
We're
our
going
channel and turn on all
to
notifications so you don't miss
so
any
good
of our
on this
weekly
exam.
uploads. Okay, let's get it. Around 7:20 p.m. on the evening, English county called Surrey started receiving all these frantic emergency calls. Now, all of these calls were coming from drivers on a heavily trafficked highway called the A3, and they all were saying the same things. They had seen this totally reckless driver with super bright headlights that was weaving in and out of traffic and going at high speeds and nearly crashing into people. And then a couple of the callers said they actually saw this car go down the embankment off the side of the highway, and so it looked like they might have crashed. And so, of course, this police department, after getting all these calls, decided to send out a couple of officers to see what was going on. When the two officers got out to the A3 and began patrolling the area on the A3 where all these calls were saying they had seen this reckless driver, they didn't see the driver. They didn't see a wreck on the side of the road. They didn't see any signs of an accident. I mean, there was nothing there. Now, had only one person called in about this wild, reckless driver, at this point, the officers would have chalked this up to a mistake or even a prank. But so many people called in about this one particular reckless driver on the A3 that these two officers decided to just keep on looking and really see if they can figure out where this driver went. And so to this point, the two police officers had been just driving on the A3 to try to find this driver. And so they decided they would park their vehicle, get out, and walk on foot on the edge of the highway because there were these huge forests that lined either side of the A3. In fact, Surrey, the county in England where this was one of the most heavily forested areas in all of England. And so these forests on either side of the A3 were very dense. You could not see very far into them. And so these officers were thinking that it might be possible that this driver, if they were driving as recklessly as all the callers made it seem like, they could have veered off the highway, gone down the embankment, and then because they were going at such a high speed, they could have crashed their way into one of these forests and basically disappeared from view from the road. That in order to see this crash in the forest, you'd have to be basically in the forest. And so these two officers, they pulled over, they got out, and they began walking along the edge of the highway, staring into the forest, looking for a sign of a car wreck. And sure enough, after walking for a while, one of the officers spotted something deep in the woods that looked almost metallic or plastic. Whatever it wasn't supposed to be in the forest. And so the officers made their way into the tree line and began walking through all the trees. And as they got closer, they realized very clearly there was a car. There was a wreck in the forest. And so the two officers, they began running towards the wreck. They're calling for backup on the radio. They get to this wreck in the middle of the forest, and they're on the driver's side, and they look inside the car, and there's no driver in the driver's seat, but they looked through the car to the passenger side, and they saw the front passenger door was wide open, and on the ground on the other side of the car was very clearly a body. And so the two police officers rushed around the car to get a better look at the body. And when they did, they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
30 minutes.
What was this?
I'm not even yapping. I'm not even yapping. The phone is yapping, but 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
On that night, a 21-year-old man named Christopher Brian Chandler finished up his beer at a pub in West London. And for reference, where this pub was located was about 1 hour north of that stretch of the A3 highway in Surrey where the car was found in the woods. This night, Christopher had gone to this pub with a close friend of his. This was meant to be a fun night out. But, as Chris is finishing up this beer, he began to feel really fancy because it turned out Christopher was actually wanted by police in London for robbery. And so he hated staying in one place for too long. And so the only people who even knew where Christopher was the friend he was with at the bar, and then also Christopher's brother. He knew he was at this particular pub. And so finally, Christopher got so anxious about being in this pub for too long that he told the friend he was with that he just wanted to leave. And so he said goodnight to his friend. The friend stayed at the pub, and Christopher left, got in his car, and began driving south. But Christopher never arrived at the place he was trying to go. He just sort of disappeared, and nobody heard from him again. Christopher's brother eventually would report Christopher missing, but remember, the brother knows Christopher is wanted for robbery, and so Christopher suddenly going on the lam and just disappearing for a while was kind of par for the course, and so the brother really didn't think this was a big deal. And also, the police felt the same way because they know Christopher is trying to elude them, and so it makes sense he would be missing. And so as a result, nobody really followed up on Christopher's missing person report. Everybody just kind of moved on. That is, until 5 months later, when all those drivers began calling into the police in Surrey about seeing this totally reckless driver careening down the A3, who eventually crashed into a ditch. And then those two officers, they went out to that stretch of A3, and sure enough, it was Christopher's car, and the body on the ground was Christopher. However, there was a problem. When the two police officers walked up on Christopher's car and saw it for the first time, they were struck by how old it looked. But it didn't really register with them why that would matter. It just stood out to them that this is a really, really old and rusted up car. But when they went around to look at the body on the ground, Christopher's body, they saw that his body was actually mostly a skeleton, which meant Christopher did not crash and die on this night, December 11th, 2002. Very likely, he crashed and died 5 months earlier, right around the time he disappeared. Now, the Surrey police, they say that this was all just one big coincidence, that the reckless driver that all these drivers were reporting that night on the A3 must have not crashed and actually just kind of got away. And then just by coincidence, when the police were searching that area of the A3 for the reckless driver, they happened upon Chris and his car. But remember, several of the drivers who called in that night about seeing this reckless driver on the A3, they specifically said they saw the car veer off the embankment and crash down below near the tree line. Like, this is a serious crash. Someone needs to get out here with an ambulance because probably someone's hurt. And then when the police got out and searched the exact area where this crash supposedly happened, they find Chris's car that had all the hallmarks of a car that was driving recklessly on the A3 that veered off and crashed into the woods. I mean, they found Chris and his car because of these calls, but it could not have been Chris. But what other car could it have been? As of today, we do not have a good explanation for how this happened, and so it's been dubbed the A3 ghost crash. Well, we finally did it. I don't know if it was all the acid we poured into their contact lens solution, or if it was all these wild predators we released in their house, but somehow, some way, we killed the like button. And I know this because the ghost of the like button paid me a visit last night. And after slapping me right in the anti-tragus and then pouring fox urine in my eyes, the ghost of the like button said, "Listen here, Mr. Ballin, if you want to bring me back to life and keep up with your antics, you need to bring me one piece of brand new Mr. Ballin merchandise." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Of course!" Her lap.
How many subscriptions are you paying for? Rocket Money, find sneaky or forgotten subscriptions.
Just one.
Inside of a bar in a tiny
My valuable Spotify.
The men were named Lucien Perrault and Olivier Boudin, and even though there was a massive age difference between them, Lucien was 69 years old and Olivier was 38 years old, the two were totally inseparable, to the point where the people in the village referred to them as father and son. Lucien had spent his whole life working in manufacturing in a nearby city, but just 4 years earlier, he had finally retired and he had moved into a small home inside of this northern French village. But when he had first moved into this new home, he had been very lonely and sad. Lucien was divorced, he struggled with alcohol, and he had had a really tough life, and he just wasn't doing well. But when he met Olivier, his whole life turned around. When the two met, Olivier also was kind of like a down on his luck guy. He was struggling with some health issues that made it hard to work. And so for years, he had been bouncing between the nearby city and this village in northern France, looking for work somewhat unsuccessfully. And so when these two happened to connect, it's like they bonded over having kind of difficult lives. And for Lucien, what really mattered to him was Olivier, despite being so much younger than him, did not treat Lucien like he was this dried up, worthless old man. He treated Lucien like a peer. And so together, these two very unlikely best friends began kind of orchestrating their lives around the other. And before long, it was like their lives had all this new structure and routine and meaning to them, because again, the two men got to be together basically all day long. So on this particular morning, as Olivier and Lucien were together at this bar, they began talking about what they wanted to do that night. And they settled on having a barbecue at Lucien's house. Lucien would cook up some beef and they would sit out on his back garden patio and just spend the night together. It sounded like a wonderful plan. And in fact, the bartender would say that when Olivier and Lucien finally left the bar that day, that he recalled overhearing them being so excited about this particular barbecue. And so that evening, Olivier and Lucien arrived at Lucien's house, and they went out to the back patio where Lucien had already draped a nice tablecloth over this small round table. It was a red and white checkered pattern tablecloth, and on this table was an open bottle of wine and some cheese and a baguette. And so Olivier, he sat down and began enjoying some wine and bread, and Lucien walked over to the grill and began cooking up the beef. Lucien had a neighbor, we're going to call her Marie because we don't actually know her real name, and Marie's second floor window overlooked
I need to go to the restroom.
And so that night, Marie
I've been drinking, I've been hydrating.
Listening to music and goofing around.
Oh my
And she was
god.
used to them spending lots of time together, and she was also used to
Oh
them
my
staying
gosh,
up late at
I need to
night.
yap about something real quick. So today I had a super good day. I had like, okay, oh my gosh, I had a super good week too. So I'm gonna yap about like friends. So this week I decided to go to like a science cafe. We like learned about fossils and stuff like dinosaur eggs, which is pretty cool. Like we have this like super rare dinosaur egg in one of our like Auburn's museums, which is super cool. Like it's like super duper rare. And I went with my friend Liz, who's like, I think she's an environmental science major. I'm not really sure. Don't mark my words on that. But we had super great fun because it was at Botanic, and I love Botanic. It's like literally so cute. Like they sell plant, like they're super like plants. Like they have a whole greenhouse like dining area, and then they have this cafe. It's like my new favorite cafe in Opelika. Like I have a I have like Ristretto, which is like my favorite cafe, but like I have like my favorite cafe now, like which is Botanic. So cute, and they have like so many plants. I was thinking of buying like basil, like a basil plant, like taking care of it. So I went there with her, and then the day after, I went with Avery to Lucy's. Oh my gosh, Avery's gonna be my roommate, but also like Lucy's is my favorite restaurant ever. Like I love Lucy's. Like Lucy's is just like my favorite restaurant in Auburn, the entire Auburn. Is that? Oh, if I make a heart, it'll do that. Yep, I'm making a heart. Oh, I didn't know I did that. That's so cute. Oh my gosh, do it, do it. Oh, I thought it was like a audience reaction thing, but no, I can do it by myself. Ah, do it again. Oh my gosh, can you hear? Can you hear? What? No. I'm doing a heart. Maybe it is an audience reaction thing. Well, it says like nobody's on my live right now, so why won't I do it over here? It did. That is so cute. Oh my gosh, now that I know that, I'm gonna keep doing this. That's so cute. Okay, anyways. I went to eat at Lucy's, and we had a charcuterie and cheese board, which was so good. Well, there was like two things that didn't really belong on there, but the bread, it was like a focaccia bread. Best bread I've literally ever had. Like I don't know what they put on it, like Coke, heroin. I don't know. They put something on there. It was really good. Anyways, and then we both had pork chops, which is really good. It's not the best pork chop I've had, but it was definitely like it was up there because they had apples. And it's not like really like I don't really like a sweet pork chop, like apple type of sweet. I like barbecue sauce type of sweet, but I mean it's okay. It was really good. And then she got like cookies, and I got this huge lemon meringue pie, bro. It was a cake. It was an ice cream lemon cake, and Yeah, it was, oh, so good. And then today, I made friends with a janitor at my school. I was sitting in the student center, like Chick-fil-A center, trying to, like, drink the rest of my caramel macchiato. I forgot that I don't like caramel macchiatos anymore. I forgot that I didn't like caramel anymore, and I got a caramel macchiato with my friend Liz after our exam, and I was stuck trying to drink it all because I don't wanna waste money, bro. So yeah, I was sitting there and he came over and he like tried to wipe the table and he was talking. We made like conversation about like winter break and everything, and he like maybe gave me like recommendations when I passed by like Birmingham and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then I like went up to the quiet section or whatever, and I saw my friend Mackenzie from high school, like my high school bestie. And yeah, it was so fun because we talked for a really long time, and it was really good, like, catching up with her because I haven't seen her in, like, 10 years, and I haven't talked to her even more years than that, so it was, like, what, 2 decades since we've last, like, talked and seen each other. So, yeah, it's great to see your friends once in a few decades and just, like, catch up. But, no, like, I we're texting again, so that's really good. I'm super glad about, like, my friends right now, like, I'm definitely, like, I'm up. I'm up. I'm her. But it's okay. Let's continue talking about death loops and stuff. I'm not actually paying attention, but I like kind of listening and like hearing gruesome things because it scares me. You know, like I'm like, would you rather be dead or would you rather study? I'm like, I'd rather study. You know, so if I listen to like horror stuff, I'd rather like I focus better.
So she figured, tonight's going to be another one of those nights.
I'm telling you,
where
I'm
these
an
guys are up late,
unhinged
having wine,
individual.
celebrating, whatever. She was just going to shut the window and try to ignore the noise coming in and just let them do their thing. And so eventually Marie would do that. She would go to bed to the sound of music coming from next door and the sound of men talking. And then the next morning, when Marie got up around 6 a.m., she looked out that window again and frankly was not that shocked at what she saw. Lucian was still just sitting at the table, looking like he could be eating some bread or still drinking wine, and Olivier had clearly passed out on the ground. Now, Marie didn't judge. She knew these two liked to stay up late and drink and do stuff like this, and so she thought, you know what? None of my business. Then at 9 a.m., so
Mm-hmm.
3 hours after Marie had first woken up, she left her house to go to another neighbor's house to feed their chickens while they were away for the day. As she passed by Lucian's house, she glanced into his back garden patio and she saw Lucian was still just sitting at the table and Olivier was still passed out on the ground. It was like they hadn't moved for 3 hours. But again, Marie's thinking, none of my business. And so she just kept on going, went to her neighbor's house and fed the chickens. But when Marie came back to her house 3 hours later, around noon, she looked again into Lucian's backyard and she saw the two men still had not moved. Lucian is sitting at the table and Olivier is laying on the ground. And suddenly Marie's thinking, wait a minute, the sun is high in the sky right now. These guys aren't moving. They're going to get heat stroke. We got to do something about this. And so she yelled out to Olivier and Lucian, but she got no response. And so Marie just walked into Lucian's backyard. And as she got closer and closer to the two men, she realized that they were not moving at all. Like they were not breathing. Something was horribly wrong here. And so Marie, she just turned and ran to another neighbor's house. She told them what was going on. And they got these big pots of water and they ran back and doused Olivier and Lucian with water, trying to get them to snap out of their drunken stupor. But the two men did not move at all when the water hit them. Clearly, they were dead. The next day, the local prosecutor announced there was going to be an investigation into the two men's deaths, which were being classified as criminal acts. And the prosecutor also said that it seemed like Lucian and Olivier died at the same time, and so most likely this was either a double homicide or a murder-suicide. And the primary theory as to what killed the two men was poison put in their food. And so police sent off the canned beans the two men were eating to this institution in Paris to test it.
Almost done with this slide.
Which is a deadly
Also, I have like
toxin
15 more
that
minutes.
grow inside of canned foods, but it came back negative. And then also police sent off the rest of the food the two men were eating to various other laboratories to be tested for poisons. And again, all of it came back negative. There was nothing that the police could detect in any of the food they ate. And so police were kind of confused for a minute, but then the autopsies came back for Olivier and Lucien, and everything changed. Lucien and Olivier were not murdered. This was not a murder-suicide. They didn't die from botulism or from some poison in their food. They died because of a set of very particular circumstances. Both Lucien and Olivier suffered from non-fatal minor medical issues. Lucien had bad dental health and so was missing a couple of teeth, and Olivier was suffering from a heart condition called cardiomegaly, which means his heart was slightly enlarged and somewhat fragile. However, his condition was totally being monitored by doctors and was under control. But just for a second, on the night of August 2nd, 2017, when Lucien and Olivier were having that cookout in Lucien's backyard, their non-fatal minor medical issues suddenly became a really, really big deal. Lucien cooked up a big plate of beef rib. Now, beef rib can be difficult to chew, even when you have all your teeth and take your time. But Lucien was missing teeth, and he loved
The rate
this
of
beef rib
change
so
and
much,
the
he was
amount of
wolfing it down
radioactivity is the
quickly, and so he
characteristic
wasn't
for
chewing
each
it enough.
radioactive
And at some point, he swallowed a particularly
isotope.
big unchewed bite, and he began to choke. And when that happened, his best buddy, Olivier, sitting across from him, he stood up to try to help his friend who's basically dying right in front of him. And the stress of this moment caused his heart to seize up, his heart, which is already enlarged and fragile, and he had a heart attack and died. And then Lucien, who now has no one to help him, continued to sit at the table trying to get this beef out of his throat, but he couldn't, and he eventually
No.
asphyxiated and died as well, hunched over at the table.
Why is it not working? Can I watch my YouTube, please?
A little after 7 a.m. on the morning of April 15th, 2007, three men launched a 35-foot white catamaran called the Cas-2 from a marina in northeastern Australia, kicking off what was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. The captain of the Cas-2 was 56-year-old Des Batten, and for months he'd been training for this trip. And the two friends that Des was bringing with him on this trip were Jim Tunstead, who was 63 years old, and Jim's brother, Peter Tunstead, who was 69 years old. All three of the men had spent a lot of time plotting their actual course they'd be going on, which was from this marina on the northeastern side of Australia, up and around the north side, and then down the western coast to Perth, which was their final destination and where all three men lived. In total, this trip was supposed to take 8 weeks, and all three men were absolutely giddy with excitement at the prospect of spending an entire 2 months basically just drinking beers and fishing. Now, Des, Jim, and Peter were not the types to blow off responsibility to go party. I mean, they were devoted family men. All of them had been married for 30 plus years. Des had 2 kids, Jim had 4 kids, and Peter had 5 kids. But they were all either retired or nearing retirement, and this trip was going to be kind of a way to celebrate the end of an era. And while all three of them had gone on other big sailing trips, this one easily was the biggest one in terms of the distance they were covering and how much prep went into it and how expensive it was. I mean, this was like 10x the scope and scale of any other sailing trip they had done. And so, on April 15th, 2007, shortly after the three men had launched their boat and kicked off this big trip, Peter's wife would call him just to see how it was going. And she would say, Peter was in great spirits, and she could hear the other two men laughing in the background. And it sounded
Fusion
like they were about
is
to
the
start
combining
fishing
of light
in
and
a couple of
nuclei to
years.
create
And so it
heavier,
seemed
more
very
stable
much to Peter's wife
power source of the
like this
sun.
trip was going as well as it could
High
be
input
so
of
far.
energy is
And
needed
so
to
eventually,
initiate the
Peter told his
process.
wife that he had to go. He told her he
10
loved her,
times the
and then they
energy.
hung up. Now, Des, who was the captain of the
No
Cast
omega
2, was
application.
adamant about safety being the top concern for this trip. Even though all three men were relatively healthy and had a lot of sailing experience, and even
Less
though
than
Des was a
1%
member of a volunteer
235 and the
marine
rest is
rescue group,
238.
and so literally could be
235
called on
and
to
the
go
rest is
perform
the chemical
rescues
reaction.
at sea,
To
despite
produce
all this
fissionable
experience and
uranium, the
know-how,
nitrogen is
before they
enriched
kicked off this trip, Des
to
made Jim and Peter go through all these man overboard drills on the Caz 2 to make sure they knew how to do it if for some reason, an emergency
minimum of
arose out at sea. And
85%.
so the men got really comfortable using all the life-saving equipment and going over all the procedures. And then also when they
Fission,
charted their
redox,
course,
reaction,
Des
and basic
stressed that at no point should they be sailing into
environment.
open water. They needed to stay close to shore the whole time just because it was safer. And so, when Jim began filming a video around 10 a.m. on the day they set sail for this trip, you can clearly see the shore in the background of this video. So they're following the course they had planned. But a couple of hours after Jim had shot that video on the day they left, a woman named Isabel Wheeler, who did not know Des, Jim, or Peter and had never seen the Caz 2 before, she was fishing in an area called Champagne Bay when she looked out into the water and she saw the Caz 2, a white 35-foot catamaran sailing east to west across the horizon. And then at some point, as Isabel was watching this boat, which really meant nothing to her, she just happened to be watching it.
Okay, so I
She
already know
saw it
this.
make a quick 90-degree turn and began
Auto
sailing out towards the
ionization.
open ocean away from the coastline. Now, remember, Isabel knows
Dissociation
nothing
strong
of this boat or its occupants, and so has no idea that Des, Peter, and Jim had been so clear about at no point will we sail into the open ocean. It's too dangerous. Stay close to shore. She didn't know that, and so she just saw a ship turning and sailing out to the open water. And she thought, okay, whatever. So she didn't go and report what
This
she
is the
saw.
Nernst
It was
equation.
only
Alpha
later on, when
particles.
details emerged about what happened on the Caz 2, that she would
Alpha
later come forward and say,
unstable
hey, I saw
emits
that boat.
2
This is what they
protons
did.
and 2
The
neutrons.
next day, April 16th, 2 more people would spot the Caz 2. These were 2 men who also did not know Des, Peter, Jim. They didn't know Caz 2.
Protection
They
lead
didn't know
plate 6
Isabel. In fact,
minerals.
these 2 men didn't know each other. But independently, on this day, they looked out near Champagne Bay and they saw the
Okay,
Caz 2
so
sailing
electron
east to
capture
west
when inner
in the
orbital is pulled
exact
into
same spot
nucleus.
that Isabel had seen it the day before. Now, remember, the Caz 2 was traveling from that marina on the northeast side of Australia all the way around to Perth. It was a point A to point B
That's
trip. There was no
positron
reason the Caz
emission.
2 would ever double back and be in the same place 24 hours later. But here we were 24 hours later, and 2 more people are seeing the Caz 2 in the same place that Isabel had seen it. And so that made no sense. But again, these 2 men who saw the Caz 2, they just saw it and
When
thought nothing of it
proton
because they don't know anything about this boat. It wasn't until later that they eventually came forward with what they saw. Then, one more day after that, on
for
April
too
17th,
high
there
is
were these
beta
fishermen
decay,
that
too
were out
low
in their
is
boats
positron
a little
emission or
farther
electron
north of
capture.
Champagne Bay, where Isabel and the 2 other men had seen the Caz 2 on consecutive days. And these fishermen, they spotted the Caz 2. And again, these fishermen do not know the Caz 2. They don't know its occupants. They're just seeing the ship, except this time, the fishermen, when they saw the Caz 2, they thought something was wrong because they saw the Caz 2 from a distance, navigating its way fairly close to shore in an area that these fishermen knew was full of coral reefs. It's a very dangerous area to be piloting any ship. In addition, the sail of the Caz 2 was totally ripped to
I'm
shreds.
so gonna
So the fishermen
ace
are looking
this.
at the ship, wondering
I'm
what they're
gonna do
doing.
this.
But The pilot of the ship
I win.
was so
I win.
as he's navigating his way through the coral reef. Okay, he knows what he's doing, so leave him alone. But again, later on, they would report what they saw. It wasn't until the next day, April 18th, so 3 days after Des, Peter, and Jim had set sail, that anybody realized there was an issue with the crew of the CAS-2. Because on April 18th, a Coast Watch surveillance helicopter was flying over the Great Barrier Reef, and they looked down and they saw the CAS-2 with its badly damaged sails piloting all around this very dangerous part of the water to be piloting. And so the crew on board the helicopter attempted to radio down to the CAS-2 to see if they were okay, but no one from the CAS-2 called back to the helicopter. And so as they're waiting for a response from the CAS-2, the helicopter crew is watching the pilot of the CAS-2 clearly, navigating the boat in between coral reefs. And it seemed like,
I'll have to go back and re-listen to this later because I was not paying attention.
To the crew on the helicopter, this didn't really look like an emergency, but it seemed like something worth flagging. And so they called the Marine Police and said, hey, we have this ship here that's not responding. We think they're okay, but you might want to come take a look. And so the Marine Police, they would come out to the area where the helicopter had said they had seen the CAS-2, and when they got there, the CAS-2 was gone. At this point, the Marine Police got some information about the boat, CAS-2, and discovered who owned the boat and who was on this trip, so Des, Peter, and Jim, and the police would get in touch with all of their families, and they would all tell police that besides Peter's wife, who talked to Peter on that morning they left, no one had heard from any of the men. They had gone totally silent since that first day. And so when police heard this, they knew this had to be some kind of emergency, and so a search was launched to find the CAS-2. And 48 hours later, a rescue helicopter that was part of the search was about 80 or so miles off the northeastern coast of Australia when they looked down and they spotted the CAS-2. And it still had all torn up sails and it was kind of spinning.
Oh, I need to charge my laptop.
And from the helicopter,
She is low on the battery.
On the deck. Now, at this point, authorities really have no idea what's going on with this boat or its occupants. It was possible that maybe they had been hijacked, and so Des, Peter, and Jim could be held hostage down below, along with the people that took them hostage. Or maybe the boat just got stolen, and Des, Peter, and Jim are not on this boat, and that it's just the criminals on board, and again, they're down below, hidden from view. So authorities, they don't know. But they decided to take a risk and just send somebody down to get on that boat and just see what was going on.
I need to clean my room and pack super fast.
The rescue helicopter named Corey Benson was lowered by a rope where he was dropped into the water, and then Corey swam by himself over to the CAS-2 and he climbed up the side of the boat and he stepped onto the deck, and right away he noticed it was kind of like eerily quiet on board the boat. There was nobody he could see, and there was no sign of any disturbance, minus the sails of the ship being all tattered. And for a second, Corey thought about maybe calling out for Des, Peter, and Jim to see if they were down below and could come up and solve this mystery. But then he also worried that if he called out, there could be some bad people on board this boat, and he didn't want to draw their attention. And so Corey was quiet and just began walking towards the front of the boat. And as he did, he began to notice signs that people must have recently been on board this boat doing normal things. Like, for example, there was a fishing rod that was cast out into the water that was anchored to a post on the side of the boat that looked like it had just been operated minutes ago. There was a blue mug of coffee that was just sitting
Hallelujah,
maybe
hallelujah,
hallelujah.
I am so excited to be singing again with the church, the gang, the crew.
Recently, and when Corey actually got to the front of the boat where the captain would stand, he saw the engine was actually still on, it was idling, and so Corey turned it off. Now, at this point, Corey knew his next step was going down the stairs and opening up the door that led into the cabin down below to see if Des, Peter, and Jim were down there. But he also knew when he went down there, despite there being backup up in the
Skin texture. I wonder if this much detail is going to be actually communicated very well on the actual stream. I'm not sure. I'm trying to expose my skin texture.
He grabbed the handle and he opened it up. And the room he was walking into was kind of like a half living room, kitchen area. and he saw there was this.
I'm getting tired of this. I'll listen to you later. You don't have to know. You don't have to know. Look at me. I may never pass for a perfect bride. Oh.
Get that bread.
My alarm told me to stop yapping, so I have to stop yapping now. No, but like I'm not anxious about like not yapping, but I'm anxious about like now I have to actually take my test. So wish me luck. I will take it right now. And it's been so great talking. I love yapping. It's a skin condition. I mean, it's a mind condition. It's actually a circulatory and respiratory, excretory, all of the systems, but the CNS system. It's a condition, and I'm so glad that I have this coping mechanism called YouTube Live. So thank you for joining me. I know there's like probably nobody on here. Okay, because the thing is, I once had like 20 people watching me on the stream, but I didn't know that because it keeps saying that I have like 0 people watching. So I don't know how many people are watching. But if you're still here, if anybody's still here, thank you for watching. Thank you for do it. Do it. Do it. There we go. Thank you for staying with me and keeping me mentally sane. And for those who had to leave, like my annoying sister, when you come back and watch this, thank you. I miss you, and I'll see you later. Bye. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Bye.